local and international business leaders, economists, entrepreneurs, and other professionals. Join Love FM 105.1 and Love TV Live this and every Saturday from 2 to 3:30 p.m. for the program Business Talk. Gain valuable insights into the world of business as we profile successful Liberian entrepreneurs in and out of Liberia as they provide business strategies, entrepreneurship, and financial planning. Business Talk, your one-stop shop in the world of business. It's on Love FM 105.1 every out. Yes, indeed. Business Talk is here again. I know you kind of glued to your radio, you glued to your gadgets, where you're following us on Love TV Live on Facebook and other outlets and major platforms across the country. Mike Gibby, Grand Jide, we say thanks so much for following. And as always, we say, lazy hair make a man poor. Diligent hands bring him wealth. What are those things that you put in place to bring you wealth? That's why Business Talk is here to give you the ideas to put your hands in doing those things that will bring you wealth. Without much ado, my name is Rufus Divine Cannon, encouraging you to always listen to Business Talk. And of course, your expert, I call him an expert. Yes, indeed, he is. And he's here with us. He's no other than Mr. Alkina R. Phillips, who always giving us the insight of what to do and for a successful living. So I'm privileged to have him as my mentor. Yes, openly I must say this today. I haven't said this to him. He's my mentor. And for the matter of fact, there are lots of things I'm benefiting from in terms of knowledge from his reservoir. And I want to encourage all of you to take up the time to always listen to Business Talk, because Business Talk is your one-stop shop. So let me say good afternoon from my end, Mr. Phillips.
Good morning, Rufus. Good morning. Good morning to you, Rufus, as always. Good morning to everyone who's listening. For the folks listening all the way up there in Grand Jide, also those who are listening in Banga. We got a station relaying today in Banga, Bong County. We also have a station, Joy Africa FM in Magibi, Kakata, broadcasting, relaying as well. And then also across Monserrato County with Love FM in Monrovia, Liberia. So this is a testament. This is a confirmation that indeed Business Talk is spreading wide and far all across Liberia. Liberians are plugging in, they're connecting, they're learning, they're developing, they're increasing, they're expanding, and knowledge is being put out. So it's up to you to either reject it or to accept it. So that's what Business Talk is all about. We're talking about how small businesses, be it in Liberia or anywhere, can the role they play in the national economy. And this is a platform where there's no politics. We don't discuss, we don't talk, we do not entertain in any way, shape, or form any politics on the show. And we don't even take any calls for politics. Rufus and myself, we dedicated ourselves to not even talking about politics. So you get 1.5 hours of no politics. So I think, Rufus, when you do the jingle the next time, call Business Talk the no politics zone. Okay, so when you enter this zone, you leave your politics at the door, and when you enter this zone, it's what we call Business Talk is the no politics zone. 100% all business enlightenment teaching, coming as a mentee, and myself or Rufus can be your mentor. And that will help you take what you can take, write it down. We always encourage everyone far and near. Please make sure that you take your notes, because it's important to take notes, right? Copybook is what is better than a copy head, right? Don't try to memorize things. Write it down. Write it down and take your notes. And those notes it will pay off for you in the long run. In the long run. So, happy weekend to everyone in Grand Gita County listening on the radio station up there. Also those in Kakata, all the way up to Wiala, all the way past Todi and everywhere there, all across Harbel. You know, listen to the show, connect with us on Facebook, Love TV Live, and please share the link. Share the link to all of your friends. Also, don't forget to click and like Love TV Live. We want to build up our following. So click Love TV Live. And I've already shared the link. Rufus, they're asking you to share the link on the page there. So share the link on the Facebook page as well. So, share the link, share it, and click on the like button to like Love TV Live. This is the no politics zone. This is 100% business talk. How was your week, Rufus? How was your week? How did you make out this week across the city, doing all of your things, management, administration, and everything else?
Look, we always say, glory be to God for life, in as much we have the blood running through our veins, we breathe in through our nostrils, we give God the glory. It had not been easy, but it worth it. Those challenging moments prepare us to be the better version of ourselves. So we are privileged to be here again, and we encourage people to always take on the bull by its horn, no matter what the challenging moments that may cross your path would be. Always keep your heads up high, like the good book would regularly say, look up to the hills from whence come your help. And the one who made the heaven and earth, he never sleeps nor slumber. He's going to be there with you even to the end of the age. So it was wonderful. And starting up the week, we had the time. Last night was the wake keeping of our fallen brother. Today is the funeral, of which he's been laid to rest now. So it's just quite interesting and wonderful. Looking forward to a brand new week on tomorrow. Start tomorrow. So this is where we are.
I'm also taken aback by the loss and the passing of that young man, Kai Zulu. I spoke to him months ago. I was supposed to he wanted me to do a program with Vasily Sumo over there at Prime, had wanted me to do a program with him on electricity, energy, and after the elections and stuff like that. And he and I were in discussion. So I said, you know what? Give it a couple of weeks, couple of months, and I will get back to you. And, we chatted, WhatsApp back and forth. Next thing I know, a few months later, Vasily contacted me and said, we just, he passed away. So, life is fragile. Life is very fragile. That's why it's so important that all of us, be it in Liberia, in the U.S., wherever you are listening today, your life is very important. Your life is very fragile. And don't take anything for granted. It's so important that we pay heed, we pay attention. Watch your surroundings, watch your, your connections. Your body tells you different things. So pay attention. Don't ignore headache. Don't ignore stomach ache. Don't ignore pain in your leg or whatever the case is. Don't ignore it, because that may be your body sending you a signal, an email, a text message telling you, hey, check me out, check me out, check me out. And I'm not saying that's what happened to him, but I'm just saying to all of us. I just did my physical on Thursday. I had to go and do my yearly physical to make sure that everything was working, because I want to continue doing what I'm doing, providing for my loved ones, my family, continuing with business talk and things like that. So, but anyway, by way of it, I don't want to eat up all of our time. Couple of things, couple of announcements. Number one, I'm going on vacation, so I would not be on the show next week. Rufus will be the pilot. My seat will be here, but if he puts the camera on, I'm not going to be in the seat. You only see the background there. So Rufus is going to teach, educate. Maybe he might do a review. Maybe he may do a case study. Maybe he may talk about different things. Maybe he may take calls. Maybe Rufus, maybe that's what you might want to do. Let's take calls. Let's get calls from Grand Jita. Let's get calls from Banga. Let's get calls from Kakata. Let's get calls from across Monrovia. People who have been listening to the show over the past months. Let's get their input. Let them tell you how the show has benefited them, what we need to do, what we need to modify, what we need to adjust. Let's hear from them. Maybe, that 1 week that I'm out, and I'll be back the following week. In the meantime, the next important announcement is Rufus and I we're thinking. We're in the embryonic stage, right? We're right now. His brain is connecting to my brain is connecting to his brain, and we're exchanging we're exchanging some ideas, and we're going to have a big announcement when I come back. And once we finalize and move this thing from the embryonic stage and get it into the caterpillar or pupa stage and get into the cocoon, and by the time we come out as a butterfly, something big is coming for Business Talk. Something big is coming for Business Talk. So make sure you listen. In 2 weeks, there will be a big announcement about Business Talk. And I'm trying to get us relayed also in Buchanan, Rufus. I'm working on that. And I should have that finalized by the time I come back. So we'll be in Grand Jita in the southeast. We're in the central part of Liberia in Banga. And then we're also in Magibi, and then we're in Montserrado on Love FM, of course. And then we'll go down to Buchanan. So once that's finalized, that means we'll be covering a major area of economic activity across Liberia. And, we welcome all of our international friends, those who are in the diaspora, those in Nigeria, Ghana, wherever you're listening. Thank you. Welcome to Business Talk. So Rufus, let's play our music there for a couple of seconds. Let's enjoy it. Again, it's buka. It's all about being, if you want to be a buka, which means a big man, a big businessman, you've got to go low and plant your seeds. And then you're going to have to nourish that seed, water that seed, wait for the sun to rise and set. And then you're going to grow. And then you ultimately become a buka, a big man. So it's a process. So that's why I love this song. And I told Rufus, he was harassing me all over the weekend. No, I said, no. It's all about the buka. It's all about the buka. So Rufus, please cue up our song and let's do a little dance, and then let's get the show on the road. Okay? Get ready, everybody. Let's do it together. Wake up. Wake up, bonito cala. Don't walk, you don't try. Supposed to be try. Kill up for me, person with no mind. When I land softly on it, so bad. That's so good. Only by Joe. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
I love that.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's what we do on this show. So Business Talk is all about being a buka. You want to be a buka one day, you got to go low. Plant your seeds in the ground low, and then over time, you follow the processes, you follow the steps, you refine the process and the steps, and you ultimately grow and you bring forth the fruits, and you become a buka, a big man, a money man, a person with impact that will bring about transformational progress, transformational change, democracy, economic empowerment, job creation, and you transform people's life. That's what it's all about. That's what that song is all about, being a buka. And that's what Business Talk is about. So our mission here, Rufus, is to create more bukas. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create more bukas so that there will be more impactful people in the private sector that will be able to have an effect on the national economy in whatever country you find yourself: Ghana, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, whatever the case may be. Even in the US, small business is an impactful thing here. So let's get into the show today. And what I want to talk about, if you want, you can read a few of the comments on there, Rufus, while I queue up my my thing here for today talking. If you want, you can read a couple of the points up there, a couple of the comments.
So Eddie, we want to welcome Eddie and Joey. He says, going low today and becoming huge tomorrow is essential. Thank you so much. We appreciate your following. See Aloysius, Nick News, God, it's amazing. He's laughing. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Jusu Hassan Junior. Jusu is also laughing on here. While Aloysius is dancing, Jusu is laughing. Eddie said, busy. Week ahead of Rufus. Oh yeah, basically week ahead of Rufus. All on God, like I will continue to say, all on God. um, Tumeti Morba, following from Grandeur, India. Thank you so much, Tumeti. We appreciate you. Rufus T.L. Diabo. Rufus is listening and watching from Burrillville. Thank you so much, Rufus. Jusu Hassan Jr. is telling the folks to please share the live. Thank you so much, Jusu. We appreciate you. Jusu is on here again. I'm following from Magibi County, Calcutta City. Thank you so well for following. See Aloysius, Nick News, God, good afternoon from an N, watching from district number 6, and Nick News Motivational Center. It's good to be back. Thank you so much, Nick News. Eddie M. Doye, Eddie says, it's a pleasure joining from Grand Jita County, Flash FM compound. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Y'all get ready for the pop quiz. I hope you haven't forgotten, Mr. Phillips. The pop quiz, the folks are all going with the pen and paper.
I have not forgotten. I'm just trying to prepare my questions here. We're going to give some questions today for pop quiz. So I want to make sure that I ask, when I was in school in Liberia, I went to Rakes Institute, graduated from Rakes Institute in 1984. And, we had a math teacher, Mr. Dilima. And when that guy gave his math test, 10 questions, sometimes, man, it was so tough. He had to always scale the grade. So it was always an issue, trying to at least get five questions on the test right to get 50, because 50 was the key point. You get 50, and then when he scaled it, you're up there around the 80s and the 90s. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions today. And so the first question is going out. In fact, Rufa, before I ask the questions, can you please put the phone numbers so people in Grand Jita, people in Banga, people in Kakata, people across Monrovia can call in. So please call in with your answer today. We're not taking any questions, any answers on Facebook. If you put the answer on Facebook, we're not going to recognize. So the telephone numbers for people in Banga, Kakata, across Monrovia, and also in Grand Jita to call those who are listening on the radio, or even if you're watching on Facebook. The telephone number to call Lone Star, 0887 105105. Okay, Lone Star 0887 105105. Or you can call on Orange at 0778 665073. 0778 8665. Oh, I'm sorry. 0778 665073. 0778 665073. So here's the first question. Who creates more jobs in any economy in every country? Is it big business or is it small business? That's the first question today. Which group creates more jobs in any economy, be it Liberia, Nigeria, Ghana, US, wherever the case is? Who creates more jobs? Is it big business, or is it the big businesses collectively, or is it the small businesses collective?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon.
How are you? What's your name?
I'm still Aloysius Daniel. I call from district number 6 to be discharged years ago.
Oh, okay. So what's your answer?
Small business.
Instead the small business. Okay, listen, and you will get your answer as to whether it's correct or not. All right. Thank you so much for participating.
All right, thank you.
Oh, good answer. Good answer there. Good answer. I wanted him to explain why small businesses created more jobs. So if you can call back in, Aloysius, call back in and explain why you giving that answer. So don't just, this is not a multiple choice, right? So you said small business. So please call back in right away and explain why small business creates more jobs in the economy.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, my name is Rufus P. I'm calling from Broadville.
Oh.
I'm ready to answer the first question.
Rufus, just listen, Mr. Fiddle read out.
Okay. Well. So let Rufus. So thank you for calling into the show today. Thank you so much for calling in and paying attention. So Mr. Aloysius gave the answer. He said small business, but I want you, since you're on the line, explain why small businesses create more jobs in the economy, be it Liberia, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria, or the US. Why small business? Why not answer small business?
My answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because small business makes up the largest segment of every nation economy. When it comes to the petty traders, the money exchangers, those who do air conditions, those who do small RT contracts, they are a lot more that are involved in the small business of businesses. And the largest amount of revenue profitability is the small business segment because it makes up the portion of the every nation economy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. C. Aloysius, thank you so much for that answer. It seems like C. Aloysius sits in the front row of the class and he took all his notes and he copied everything down. Very good, C. Aloysius. Very, very good point. Very, very good. Okay, well, I think we got another caller.
Just left us. But let's see if we can get more of the calls. If you are following, let's see if we can get more of the calls on 0887 105 105 0778 665 0887 105 105 0778 665 are the numbers to call and form part of the pop quiz right here. Let's go back to the telephone line. Hello?
Hello.
How are you? What's your name?
I'm George from
Huh?
George from Canada.
Okay,
George, just listen to the question, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question number two. Who depends on who the most? Do the big business depend on the small business the most, or do the small business depend on the big business the most? Who depends on who the most? Based on the teaching from last week, who depends on who the most? Do the big businesses depend on the small businesses more, or do the small businesses depend on the big businesses more? If you give your answer, please explain.
Big business depend on small business.
Expand your answer.
Yeah. Number 2.
Expand your answers, meaning what you've given, add little meat to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say big business depend on small business because that's the meaning of it. Because with all small business, you can get big business.
Okay, just listen up. Mr. Philip is here.
So I need him to explain the answer. Don't just say, big business depend on small business or small business depend on big business. Explain your answer. Explain the answer. I need an explanation. Why do you say big business depend on small business? Okay, if you say that's the answer, then explain why. Explain why. I need an explanation.
You said small business, big business. You said big business.
I said small business. Yes.
You said small business depend on big business, or big business depend on small business. You should expand on it. Why you said that?
Yes, because small business.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes, I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him at all.
He did say because the small businesses are more. That's why the big businesses depend on the smaller ones.
Yes.
Okay, so I can't take that answer. Okay, so okay, so we'll give him $5 for effort, right? We'll give him $5 for effort. Thank you for calling. So those are the two questions for today. Who depends on who the most? The answer is okay, go ahead, Rufus.
Service Junior call from the Blackstone community.
All right, just listen up to the question, all right?
Okay.
The question is who depends on who the most? Is it big business that depends on small business, or is it small business that depends on big business?
Hello?
Hello?
Your name and the journal somewhere?
This is C. Alonso, Nicknames Garden. Can I answer question number 2?
Explain. Yes. Answer and explain.
Yeah, the reason why is because the small business is the engine. Yeah, it's the engine and segment of the economy. It helps to grow, it helps to expand, it helps to increase, and small business too. It brings it goes from being small business to medium business, and to become a big to big businesses. Because like for common example, you see he mentioned Mr. Philip talk about Lone Star Cell and Unreach. They produce the scratch car, but then they are depending on the money changer. They are depending on the small business to sell it. Yeah, so that's what small business is all about.
Keep listening.
Very good answer. The big businesses come in, but they are very, very dependent on the small businesses, because I want everybody to write down this point. It's called an ecosystem. ECO system is an ecosystem. is an interdependent relationship between the big business and the small businesses. So small businesses feed off of the big business, but the big businesses really cannot prosper and succeed unless the small business play a very, very integral role. Okay, very good answer. Very good answer. So those are the two questions for today. Which group of businesses create more jobs, big business or small business? It is the small business. Small business segment of the economy is the largest. They create the most amount of jobs, and they represent the biggest segment of the national economy. And number
So
two,
so at the point, Nick News answered two questions, and you gave clemency to the other caller who just sparked in, and you say he's gonna get $5. So in total, so Nick News is getting what?
$20, and then the other guy gets $5. So Nick News, congratulations. You paid attention to the classes, to the course last week, and you're rewarded. And the other gentleman there, you get half of that because you get 50% credit. So pay more attention. It's not just answering the multiple choice. This is an answer with an essay. Okay, it's an answer with an essay, because we don't want knowledge only, but we want knowledge and understanding. Okay, that ultimately moves to execution. Okay,
So
let's
let me just chip in for this
okay,
guy.
go ahead, Rufus.
Please send go on our page, the Facebook page, and then on the live, leave your number there. I already know your name. So if anyone want to do some kind of delivery, I already know the name. So just go on the page and drop your number there. I have the number, but I want to verify. So just go there and drop the number so that we can get going. I already have Nick News. He been one of our Adam followers and winners. So we also have his credential. We only need you, our little Nico man, to send your credential. Here is very, very important that we take note. Jusu Hassan is congratulating the winners. Thank you so much, Jusu. And he is also encouraging folks to join the live. Emmanuel Moses Noah Son Toba is joining us from Bangor City, Bond County. Thank you so much for joining us, Emmanuel. We appreciate your following. Ruth Hills, one of our ardent female followers. Hey, Ruth Hill, how you doing? She becoming one of our consistent followers on all of our shows here on Love TV. Yes, Ruth, we appreciate you. All right, let's go to the mentor to teach the mentees.
What I want is, Ruth Hills, if you're listening, I need you to please call in, because apparently you're the only lady that's on the Facebook feed. So please call in, and we need your voice today. We need you to kind of give us, your impression of the show. Please call in, Madam Ruth Hills. If you're listening, I see you on Facebook there. Please call in the show. The telephone numbers. Please call in either on Lone Star or Orange. And I'm looking at the feed and I see only men on there, but women play a very important role in small business across Liberia and in every developing nation's economy. So Ruth, 0887-105105 or 080778665073. So Ruth will be waiting for your call. So let's talk about the lesson for today. Today, we'll continue to talk about small business. So we talked about the fact that small business is the engine of every nation's economy, whether it's in the US, whether it's in Europe, or the Middle East, or anywhere across the African continent. Small business is the engine, write that down. Small business is the engine of every nation's economy. Why is it the engine of every nation's economy? Why? It's simply because they create the most amount of jobs. So small business creates the most amount of jobs in every nation's economy. And Liberia's economy is no different. So whether you go to Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, you go to Egypt, you go to Saudi, you go to any other country across, even in the US, small business make up the largest portion of job creation in these economies. And number two, small business make up a major portion of the GDP, the gross domestic product. So the GDP of every nation's economy plays that GDP. The small business plays a major role in terms of percentages of it. More than 50% of the GDP of every nation's economy is made up of what? Small business. Because why? They create the most amount of jobs. And number three, small business generate the most amount of revenue in every nation's economy. So you got the most amount of jobs, you got a larger percent of the GDP, okay, domestic product represented by small business. And when you look at the volume of transactions, business transactions from Maryland County to Grand Cape County, from Montserrat all the way up to Lofa or to Nimba. All of those counties, be it in across Liberia, be it in Guinea, be it in Ghana, in any of those countries, small business transactions on a daily basis infuse more cash, and there's more, capital movement. Okay, the bankers will call it capital, and the economists will call it capital movement. There's more movement of money, transaction, person to person, business to business being done across the small business segment. So if you look in the case of Liberia, where you have markets, every city, every town has a marketplace where people go to buy the daily wares, and they're selling. All of the petty traders, all of the small, the money, the mobile money changers, the scratch card dealers, the keke riders, the motorbike riders, the taxi drivers. I mean, the guys who are doing IT contracts and fixing computers, the people who are selling used car parts. All of those are petty traders. They all constitute small to medium-sized business. So the key point that I really want for us to discuss today is to kind of figure out, to ask ourselves, right? If small business makes up these three major components, right? These three major components, they create the most amount of jobs. They have a larger percent of the GDP, right? And there's more cash transactions or through the small business segment of the national economy. But then we ask ourselves, why is it that the small businesses are not making the impact in the communities, in the counties, in the cities, in the towns, in the villages? Why is it that the small businesses, with all of this power, with all of this might, with all of this cash money being transacted, moved around. In the case of Liberia, is millions of dollars. In the case of Ghana, Guinea, Sierra Leone, the US, why is it that small business is not making the impact, be it politically, I don't want to go there, or even seeing it in the economy? Why is it? Why is it? When big decisions have to be made, why is it that this major segment of the economy that accounts for so much, why are they not being consulted? Why is it that their voice is not being heard? Oh, and this is what I want to talk about today. And the reason why that voice is not being heard, the three things I want for us to write down today. Three things we're going to write down today. The reason why the voice of small business is not being heard is because of three things. And I need all of us to write that down today, okay? The first one is the first one is efficiency, okay? The lack of efficiency. The lack of efficiency, okay? Lack of efficiency. So the key thing with small business is that the small business people do not follow. You remember this list we talked about when we first started this show? We gave the 10 things, the 10 keys, right? We talked about the 10 essential keys for small business, or for every business, whether it's small, medium, or large. We talked about the 10 things, right? Everybody memorized them. Everybody knows them. You must have passion, knowledge in the sector that you're doing business. You must have experience, growing experience. We talked about setting specific goals. We talked about a vision. We talked about creating a mission statement. We talked about the master plan, having a plan that is driven by a strategy so that you can execute and produce fruits. We talked about the team, building your team. We talked about accountability within your business. And then last but not least, we talked about creating a positive work environment so that that team will be cohesive, work together, a division of labor, assigned task and responsibility, and ultimately execution. We talked about these 10 things. And these 10 things all have what? They all have a direct effect on the efficiency of your business. So if you're just running a business, if you call yourself running your business, you need to understand that your profitability is directly connected and dependent on what? On your efficiency. Write that down. Your profitability of your business is directly dependent upon your efficiency of running that business. And the efficiency of running that business has to do with what? The business process. So when you're running your business, or you're setting up a business, or you're planning on you're planning on getting into it, you need to, when you find your topic or find your market segment, you need to then write your business process. So your business process basically is a series of steps as to how this business is going to be carried out. And when you write down that process, you go through that process. And the more effective and the more efficient that process is, then that means what comes out of that process will be very profitable. Okay, so write that down. You got to have your business process. And the more clear that business process is, okay, then, and as you repeat that business process, going through those steps, the more effective, the more efficient your business process is, the more profitable you will ultimately become. So one of the things that hinders small businesses in Liberia, we'll get back on topic. So one of the things number one thing for today to remember, if you're a small business person in Brangida, in Banga, in Kakata, in Monrovia, or anywhere listening on Facebook, in the US, wherever it is, the efficiency of your business process directly affects your profitability. Write that down. The efficiency or the effective running, okay, or operating of your business process will directly affect the profitability of your business or of your company. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is productivity. Productivity. How productive is your business? How productive is your business? If you're not producing, the fruits, and productivity also depends on what? On effective efficiency. If your efficiency is poor, that means your productivity is poor. And that means your profitability will be way down. So profitability is so important. Profitability is so important because that's the life of the business. If your profitability is approaching zero, that means your expenses are increasing. And if your expenses are more than your profitability, then ultimately you're going to what? You're going to die a slow death. Your business is going to die a slow death. You'll find yourself in the morgue, and then you'll ultimately find yourself in a cemetery being buried. Your business is going to die. So efficiency is important and productivity is important. And then your productivity is also affected by what? By the business process. So that's why it's so important. Take for instance, Alfred Boo. I know you do business while you're on this program. Whatever business you're doing, Alfred, if you think about it, if you write down your business process, I can't come to you and say you're doing scratch card business. Okay, you're doing scratch cards. What else you do? You're doing money changing. You're doing money changing. You're doing mobile money, and then you're also doing payouts, and then you're also making deposits for people. Okay, then you're also selling scratch cards. So you got three segments of your business. You're doing mobile money, you're changing money, and you're selling scratch cards. So what are the processes involved in that? How efficient is that? How efficient is that process? Is going to directly affect your what? Your profitability. You must have an operating cost. You must know how much you're going to spend every day to get to work, to get to your location, come home, your meal for the day. And but maybe you're going to be sitting there and you're going to spend maybe $2 or $3 on data just to be on Facebook to pass the time. But all of that is what, and then anybody comes to for mobile money, there's a process. Anybody come to mobile money consists what? Either pay in or pay out. Okay, so it's so important. It's so important that you get that process down. When it comes to selling your scratch cards, that's also important. What's the process in there? Is it by mobile money you're selling the scratch card, or is it a physical card you're selling? That process has to be efficient. Do you have people in the field that come to you, pick a product and take it out every day? Do you have other guys in the field who are working under you where they get a piece of your business and then you get a piece as well? That process, okay, that entire business process, you need to write it down. You need to review it for any inefficiencies, any unproductive action in that process. Remove it. You need to remove it because it's affecting your profitability. It's affecting your profitability. If you're spending $2 a day on scratch card, just on data to sit there, right? That means you're losing $2 a day from your revenue. What could you be doing with that time? Is it more efficient for you to sit in one place? Or is it more efficient to have yourself sitting in one place and have another guy walking around the neighborhood in that area to sell the scratch cards, so that at least you can have two revenue streams? That guy is out there selling while you're also at one location. Write down the process, expand and grow your business. You go from one person selling for you to two persons selling for you. But the business process must be efficient and it must be productive. Okay? And then number 3, profitability. Profitability. At the end of the day, you're only in business to do what? To make profit. If you're not in business to make profit, that means you're not in business. If you're not profitable in your business, then you're not in business. Because that means you're just spending money, but you're not getting a return. Okay? So basically, profit in any situation, right? In any transaction, you buy it for $5, you sell it for 10. But the $10 you sell it for, you have to what? Subtract the cost from the sale. What you're left with, that's not your profit. No, you have to then you must subtract your operating costs, your administrative costs. You subtract it from that, and what's left over, maybe it's $2.50 that's left over. That is your profit. So not because you bought it for 10 and you sold it for 25, that means you made $15 profit. No, it costs you money to bring it in. It costs you money to carry it out. It costs you money to even pay your transport and everything. So you have to subtract all of that. And whatever is left, that becomes your gross profit. Okay, so you need to understand the numbers. If you don't, because at the end of the day, business is all about numbers. Profitability is all about numbers. If the numbers don't add up, you are not profitable. And ultimately, if you are not profitable, you are going to die a slow death. You'll find yourself in the emergency room. Next place, you'll be in the morgue. And the next place, they'll have you wake your funeral, and you'll be in the cemetery. Your business is ultimately going to die. So it's so important that you stay, when you run your business, you want to stay out of the emergency room. It's okay to go to the hospital every time, and then when you're in business, okay, it's okay as a business every now and then, every week or every month, you go and get a checkup in the hospital and come back and be more efficient. But you can't spend your time as a business always in the emergency room. That means you're not growing. And that's so essential. It's so critical as a business. So the 3 key things that affect small businesses from them being impactful or having a large and a powerful voice for being so powerful in an economy is the lack of efficiency, the lack of productivity, and the lack of profitability. So when businesses are not profitable, that means they don't have more money to spend. They don't have more money to spend. So if you don't have more money to spend, then how will you grow? If you don't have more money to spend, and then that means you cannot grow. That means your small business will always be a small business. So that's why efficiency is so important. Productivity in your business is so important. And profitability, ultimately profitability, is so important. Making sure you're operating every day in a profitable way so that your business process, you understand your business process, and you make that business process more efficient and more productive. And then you ultimately become more efficient in your operations. And then that will lead to your profitability. When you're more profitable, you can expand. You can reinvest in your business for your business to grow. Okay, so that's why profitability is so important. Okay. So, I mean, I want everyone to grab those 3 points. That is where small businesses, be it in the U.S., be it in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ghana, small businesses are being directly affected by the lack of efficiency, the lack of productivity, and the lack of profitability. And if those 3 things are not cohesively or strategically attacked and dealt with, okay, your business is ultimately going to end up where? In the hospital. You will end, and then while you're in the hospital, you'll be moved to where? To the trauma unit. And then from the trauma unit, you're in the emergency room. And then you're on what? You're on life support. And then you ultimately die and you get in the morgue. And then the next thing you know, your business is gone bankrupt. The business has died. So it's so important as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a petty trader, small business, medium-sized business, you must understand, write down, clarify your business process, get the 10 points down so that you can become what? More efficient, more productive, that will lead to more profitability, that will help your business to ultimately what? Incrementally grow over time. Because more profitability allows you to have more emergency cash that you can deposit and then reinvest into your business to help it to grow. Okay. Now, let's talk about how small businesses can address this within their environment. So, like I said last week, right? Let's talk about energy, for example. Let's talk about energy for a second. We said small business is so important for any nation's economy, be it the U.S., the European, the EU, Canada, Japan, G7 nations, or even in Liberia, developing countries. Small business is so important for the economy, for the economic growth, right? Okay. But at the same time, we said last week that what the engine, right? The stimulus, okay? What makes small business even grow faster is what? The provision, the availability, and the supply of electricity. Electricity is so important to small business more than big business. Why is that? Why is electricity or energy more important to small business compared to big business? And I'll give you the answer. The reason why electricity is so much more important to small business to help them to grow compared to big businesses is a simple truth. Big businesses can afford to pay for a generator. They can afford to pay for the fuel for the generator. They can afford to pay for what? The maintenance on the generator. They can afford it. And then what they do, whatever product they're manufacturing, they're going to take that cost, right? And they're going to add it onto the product and they're going to pass it on to the consumers. So ultimately, the big businesses are not paying for the electricity costs. They're passing it on to the consumers. The consumers in the market are saying what? Wow, look at this. The PVC pipes are more expensive today. Why? Because the big business that makes the PVC pipes, right? Okay, they're taking the cost of energy and they're adding it onto the product and they're passing it on to the consumers. So the consumers actually ultimately pay for the energy costs. So that's how the big business work. Why? Because they, don't forget, they also have to be what? Efficient. They also have to be productive, and they also have to be profitable. Because if they're not efficient, if they're not productive, and they're not profitable, what happens? You'll also be in the emergency room, and you'll see a big business being brought in there also and put in the trauma unit. They too are going to ultimately what? They too are going to ultimately end up in the trauma unit too. They also are going to ultimately end up in the trauma unit as well, because they're not being efficient, productive, and profitable. So if they cannot cover the energy costs for themselves for what they're doing, what they're making, okay, they too are going to become less profitable. So this is the key. This is the key to small, this is the key. So electricity, energy, the supply, the distribution, the transmission of it, the generation of it, okay, is so essential for small business. Okay, now let's look on the other side. So we all agree that big business can afford to cover the cost of energy, electricity, in the case of buying a generator, buying the fuel, and then paying for the maintenance team to maintain it and all the spare parts. Because why? They take that cost, they add it to the product, and they move that cost onto that product and move that product where? Into the market. And then the consumers in the market ultimately pay the cost of the what? Of the energy cost for them, for the big business. So that's the formula. That's the formula. Now, let's look in the case of the small business. The lack of electricity, the lack of energy, the lack of the supply, the transmission, the distribution of it for small business is very detrimental, because small business cannot afford it. They simply cannot afford it. So as a result, the small businesses, for as many as they are, for as much transaction that they do, for as many jobs as they create, they cannot move from one level to the next level, because the lack of energy, the lack of electricity, the lack of the supply of it, right? The generation of it, right? The availability of it affects their growth. And then we're back to here again. It affects their efficiency, it affects their productivity, and it affects their profitability. So as a result, with as many small businesses there are across Liberia, across all the different countries, you will come to realize that the lack of electricity, energy, the supply, transmission, distribution of it is affecting the growth of that major segment of the economy. Okay? Is affecting the most important, critical, vital part of the economy. So it's something that has to be not just known. This doesn't only require knowledge. Okay, so you can know something, but the key is what? Is when you understand it. Because when you understand it, then you can apply it. You can then develop a plan, develop a strategy to implement that plan, and then you can move to execution to produce the fruits, okay, to show the results. So that's the key. That's what hinders small business the most, the lack of electricity. And because, so that's why small businesses in Lofa, small businesses in Maryland, small businesses in Grand Jita, Cape Mount, Guinea, Ghana, whatever the case is, you look at those countries, you see the robustness. Let's take to Liberia for now. So if you look at Maryland, Grand Jita, you look at Grand Bassa, you look at Cape Mount, Lofa, you look at all of those areas. What you come to realize is the small businesses, for as impactful as they are across Lofa, how many big industries are in Lofa? I mean, you can't even count 10. But when you consider how many small businesses, the motorbike riders, the Kobo shops, the money changers, the scratch car dealers, the guys who are doing small business, the guys who are making charcoal, the women in the market, they make up the massive number of the Lofan economy. But then when you compare, when you look at the few big businesses that are there, they can afford the electricity costs. They can afford to pay for the diesel fuel. They can afford to pay for the generators. But then, and you look at Cellcom, you look at Orange, you look at MTN. They're the big businesses. They can afford to pay for the electricity, the diesel fuel, to have their trucks coming up to bring the fuel to carry to the tower sites to keep the stations on. But guess what? The guys who are selling these scratch cards, the guy is sitting he's sitting on the side of the road. He's got a Chinese light there all night. So how can his business grow? How can he be more profitable? How can he be more efficient? How can he be more productive? So he's going to have to run his entire business on 12 hours of sunshine. So he's waiting for the sun to rise in the east. And then by the time the sun sets in the west, I mean, it's, shut down, go home. So he can't even run and generate more revenue at night. Why? Because of the lack of electricity. And then whoever is making palm oil or making gari or making farina, whatever the case is, how can that business grow? How can it create more jobs? How can it be more profitable? How can it be more effective? How can it be more productive in the low-fund economy? They really can't. Then you take that situation and you can what? Apply it to Cape Mount, to Bomi, to Bapolu, to Grand Bassa, to River Cess, to Maryland, to Grand G, to River G. It's everywhere. It's the same situation everywhere. So that's why when you look, you talk to people, things are hard. That's the reason why. The small businesses do not have the ability, the empowerment for them to grow. And if they cannot grow, then I mean we have a what? We have a stagnant lack of growth in the economy. So the big businesses, they can grow because most of what they're doing, they're exporting. They're exporting their goods, right? And then those who are doing local manufacturing, big businesses, they're passing on the cost of energy onto the price of the products and pushing it to the consumer for the consumers to pay that. But the small business guy, the small business people, they're all by themselves. They have no help. So that's why it's so important for small businesses, right? The small businesses. The next point here, what affects the growth of small business, let's write it down. Number 4 is the lack of communication. Now, why do I put this on here? I put this on here because one of the most important things for small business in the U.S. is what? They communicate. They have different groups and they share information back and forth within that segment or within that sector. So if the scratch card guys in Lofa County can communicate among themselves, form an association, and then that way they can exchange information back and forth. So the problems that somebody has identified can be shared within the group. That means the group can now bring forth a solution to that problem that will no longer affect everyone. So communication between or within the group, within the segment, the market segment in small business is essential. So what happens with small business in the case of Liberia, wherever the case it may be, developing country, everybody wants to operate by themselves. So if they find something that works, I'm not going to tell anybody because, the devil is always busy. So, if it doesn't work, then blame it on the devil. He's the bad guy. He can never even tell the truth. So it's so important. It's so important that communication, if you're in a money changing business, if you guys are in an area, you're 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in the area, we have the technology. Communicate, share experiences. Maybe there's a bad customer in the area who's borrowing money, not paying it back. But the lack of communication within the group, within that market segment, within that geographical area could save another person in that same business $200, $300, or $400 because that information was not shared. So the guy said, you know what? I borrow money over here on Jamaica Road. So what I'll do is I'll go to Vata and borrow money from there again. But if you guys had an association where you're exchanging information, share the guy's picture and share his name. If he pops up somewhere else, guess what? That information's already said, I'm not going to borrow you no money. So communication is so important. Communication is so important. It's so important because and the next point, right? Let's write that down. Let's write that down. The next point here is what? Is use of technology. The use of technology. So it's so important for small businesses to make use of available technology. What am I talking about? You've got Facebook, you've got WhatsApp, you've got Instagram, You've got all of the different technologies that operate on smartphones. So if you're in business, doing small business, petty trading, whatever the case is, right? You need to use you cannot make the excuse. Let me just interject this point. I hear a lot of people say, well, this is Liberia. No. That when you're in business, accepting the norm should never be what you do. You must always reject what people force you to accept. Okay? You must always reject it. Because as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, your focus is to what? Is to be efficient, to be productive, and to ultimately be profitable. And then you can use Malcolm X's greatest say, by any means necessary. Okay? So whatever means there are or that's available to you to apply, to implement, to put to use, to produce the fruits of profitability in your business, you must do it. You cannot say, this is Liberia. No, that's an excuse. That's not a reason. That's an excuse. That's not a reason. So you must read, and that's what makes you a businessman, because everybody cannot be a businessman. You need to understand that. Everybody cannot be a businessman, but it takes a certain breed. It takes a certain character. It takes a certain mindset for you to walk, to step, to upgrade, to climb up that ladder to where to entrepreneurs and to say, you know what, I'm a businessman. I'm going to wake up every day. I'm going to say my prayers, and I'm going to put my plan together. I'm going to work my plan. I'm going to develop the strategies I need. I will find the resources, okay? And I will apply them, and I will produce the results. So it's so important. So communication, let's go back to communication. So it's important. All of you guys who are listening today, if you're a money changer, form an association. And then let that association, you got WhatsApp. Create a WhatsApp group. Move information back and forth within the group. Any new thing that can help the business, that can help that you're using in your business, that's helping you to be more efficient, more productive, more profitable, put it in the group so the other members of the group in that market segment will be able to apply it also for them to be For them to be profitable, efficient, and productive. So that community will be able to be impactful in the Liberian economy. So important. Communication is key. You must move information back and forth. What good is the information when only you have it, and the information that you have can be more impactful on the whole nation, on the whole segment of the economy that can bring about transformational change when you don't share it? So you must understand how important communications is. We're using this technology today. I'm sitting all the way in Houston, Texas, and I'm using internet technology through the radio station there in Cinco, broadcasting and then relaying it through the internet to Grand Jide, to Banga, and to Kakata, then across Monrovia, and then everybody on Facebook. We're using this technology. So don't say, well, this is Liberia, it can't work here. No. You're saying it cannot work there simply because of the limitation of your mind. So as a businessman, you must understand that you break the chains, you remove the limits, and you apply, you adapt, you take hold of those things that will help to move your business forward. So communication among business people in different market segments is so critical, it's so important, it's so vital. Okay, so make sure those of you who are keke riders, people who do bad things on the keke, make sure take the person's picture, put it in the group. If a license plate hits a car, whatever the case, take the picture, put it in the group. Communications using the available technology is so critical, it's so vital to a market segment, to small business, to the ultimate transformation within the economy. So important, so vital. Okay, let's move on to number 5. We talked about the use of technology. Technology. That's what drives the world today. Why? Because technology connects everybody. We're back to communication again. So technology is important. If you are a keke rider, why don't you have all your customers on a WhatsApp group? In a WhatsApp group using that technology. Why should you also use a button phone? Make the investment in a smartphone so that you'll be able to have access to all your customers. Use WhatsApp. Create a banner for yourself. Make a banner for yourself and put that banner on Facebook. Use Facebook. Create a Facebook group, connect your customers. Let your customers give you a review. Bobby always picks me up on time. Bobby always charges me the right rate. Bobby is always clean. Bobby is a safe driver. Let your customers give you a review using that technology so that other customers will be able to see, and then they will be drawn to you because you are a safe driver. You charge fairly. You're always on time. You're always dressed nicely, and you're always clean. So this is important. So that's why we were saying, small business across Liberia plays a very vital role in every county's economy, for the economy of every city, every town, every village. It's so critical. It's so vital. Don't make the excuse that, this is Liberia. I live in Smenotis. I live in Bomba. Nothing happening here. No, that's an excuse. Okay. It's so important to you because, again, as I said, as a businessman, whether you're a petty trader today, your plan is to what? Is not to always be a petty trader. Your plan, your strategy, right, should be what? For you to move to the next level. How do you move to the next level? You must what? You must reduce inefficiency. You must become more efficient. You must, to move to the next level, you must be what? More productive. To move to the next level, you must be more profitable. To move to the next level, you must what? Apply and use communications through technology and use the technology. Okay. So it's so important. It's so vital. So that's why you see small business, they create the most amount of jobs in every nation's economy, even in Liberia. They have the most amount of revenue transactions every day, person to person, mobile money or cash hand. They create the most for the GDP, and they create the most amount of jobs in every economy. But yet and still, their impact, they don't have a voice. Even if they make a lot of noise, nobody listens because they're what? They're inefficient, unproductive. Worst of all, they're not profitable. They don't use communications effectively, and they do not use the technology effectively. So as a result, as big as they are, they don't make an impact. So in order for us to change that, we as small business people, you must what? Let's put number 6. You must be willing to learn. Number 6, willing to learn. Okay, put it down. When you're a small business person, you must be hungry to learn. Don't always believe that you know everything. It's so important to sit, to be quiet, to shut up, and to listen. Because if you knew everything, then why are you a small business? The reason you're a small business today is because you don't know everything. That's why you're starting now. So in order for you to grow, you've got to listen. And you got to be willing to what? To be taught. So I can sit on here for 2 hours and, talk my heads out and no one listens. So where is the change going to take place in your life or in your business? Because without the transformation in your business, you will not be profitable. And if you're not profitable, what did we say? If you're not efficient, and if you're not productive, and if you're not profitable, and you're not using the proper communication and the proper technology, and you don't listen to learn, guess what? You're going to end up in the hospital as a business. From the hospital room, they will bring you down to trauma and emergency. And then after that, you'll be on life support. And then from life support, you're going to die. They're going to pronounce your death. And then you're going to be in the cold morgue. And then we're going to walk behind you to the cemetery and bury you. Your business is going to die. So to prevent your business from dying, one of the key points, number 6, you must be willing to learn. Learning is an important part of a business cycle. The more you learn, the more you earn. Write it down. The more you learn, the more you earn. You must be willing to learn. Shut up, sit down, listen, be quiet. Shut up, listen, be quiet, learn. And that's how you grow. You don't know everything. If you knew everything, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. The reason we're having the conversation is because you don't know. So just shut up and sit down and listen. And that's the key. So as a small business, you must be like a sponge. You must be hungry to learn. Wherever knowledge comes from, get it. Wherever insight comes from, take it. Whatever the revelation comes from, grab hold of it. Whatever the possibility for growth comes from, take it, because it will ultimately help you to what? To be efficient, productive, profitable, and that will help you to expand and to grow. Okay, so that's key for us. One of the other things that affects small businesses. So don't forget now, we made a list today. It may come on the pop quiz next week. I'm not, next week I'm not going to be here. So Rufus will be here. So, so make sure you write down your points. This is a course. This is not just talking on the radio. This is a course. So we want everyone to listen, to learn, to apply it to your business, whether you have the intellectual center, like Mr. Aloysius Nukes there, you have an intellectual center, whether you have a small Kobo shop, you have a small restaurant, you have a market table, you're changing money, whatever it is, apply these principles that will help you to grow. Don't forget the 6 points that we talked about today that affect small business. Number one, lack of efficiency, lack of productivity, lack of profitability, lack of communications, use technology, the lack of the use of technology, and they're not willing to sit down, shut up, and be quiet and listen to learn. So if you can apply those 6 things as a small business, there's no doubt that there will be transformational change in your business. And you will see yourself being more profitable. You will see yourself growing. You will see yourself making a greater impact in your community. And you will ultimately be able to what? Save some money and then reinvest in your business that will help you to what? To ultimately be a booker one day. Okay? So that's the whole idea. So I'm back to you, Rufus. If you want to take some,
we definitely take calls. We definitely take few calls. But what is more important, I want to actually stress on, like you made mention of, the issue that has to do with communication. Communication plays a vital role in every spectrum, in every sector. If you are not communicating, even in your relationship, it causes problem. And I've come to realize that we as communicators, we are very important to the society. So we shouldn't see ourselves as ordinary people, because people look up to us to pass on information. So in as much we are the channel of information dissemination, we must get those information adequately to the people. And what are some of the means that we can use to pass on the information? Like we now have, the world is evolving. You have the social media, which is the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You just name all of them, the TikTok. Those are all places that you can pass on information. Sometimes I always say to people, you need not to write, just video or a picture can actually send out a message, a direct message for its audience. So we shouldn't just look at communication to be ordinary. Even we who are communicators, sometimes we don't really take into consideration how important it is to communicate, even with our kids, our families, with our partners in business. Because if you are not communicating with the person, how will you know the next mood of the person, or how will you understand as to whether what you are doing is reaching out to that person in a positive direction? Like we sit here, you've been teaching us, and then if I'm not responding, how will you know that the message is going across? One person just talking, and at the end of the day, you sending out a message, and to have a complete communication, you must have a receiver, and the receiver must give feedback. So the feedback mechanism is one of the major things that people should look out for. If you have a business, you're doing a business, most of us will always pay attention, oh, I'm making money, but what's the feedback mechanism you're using to know as to whether your business is actually growing or your business is actually reaching out to the people needs and wants. So thank you so much. We appreciate that, and we always look up to you. You know, I can't even be. I'm missing you now, sir. You even go. You even go for the. I'm missing you now.
No,
No,
you know, in
in
engineering, there's a thing we call the feedback loop. Okay, when you do a process, that must, that's like you're saying that you know, one person must communicate in order for there to be effective communication. You know, there must be feedback, right? So that the information that is sending, the receiver must confirm it, and then he must respond. So in the engineering space, we call it a feedback loop. A feedback loop. And then there's a little thing there we call the error that improves the process. So the feedback you're getting, you correct it, and then you put it back in the business process. So, you know, it's in you know, one point I want to kind of expand on a little bit here. Just imagine, right? If we all agree, Rufus, wrap your mind around this. If we all agree of the size, right, the impactful size of small business, right, the percentage of GDP they control or contribute to, number of jobs they create, financial transactions every day. If you think Mita Steel is chicken change compared to how much transactional business is done every day in Liberia, on mobile money, just small business within the community, just across Liberia. Mittal, the money Mittal pays every day is chicken change to what is exchanged within small business every day. Honest truth. But then just imagine if we could just do, if small businesses across Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria, wherever the case is, if they could do a 10% efficiency improvement, improve just 10% in efficiency, productivity, and profitability, and apply more use of technology and communications and spend more and make more investments in learning, educating to excel. Just imagine how much more of the GDP they will be impactful on. Just imagine how many more jobs they can create. Just imagine how much more cash they can have in their bank accounts to then impact the democratic changes across the country. Just imagine that from that standpoint. And that's my point. You see, so if we, I mean, this is, you know, what we're doing here. If people plug in, if more small businesses from Grand Jide to Bon County, to Banga, Bon County, to Kakata, Upper Magibi, Lower Magibi, Montserrado, if they can plug into this business talk and they can listen, learn, they will ultimately grow and they will produce major transformation within our economy and in every economy across the world, you know, and that's our intent. That's our intent. Our intent is to bring knowledge and understanding, teach, so that they will produce what transformational change in businesses. That's the whole idea.
So let's take a few
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
to take calls 0887 105 105 0778 665073 are the numbers to call. We have limited time in our favor, so you can call and ask questions or make a comment. We appreciate that. Always log into our Facebook and share the show. As always, Love TV Live. Listen to our radio. Our online radio is loveradioonline.com. You can actually get us across the world. Loveradioonline.com. Oh, you can follow other streaming platforms that carry this show live. This is a one-stop shop. Listen and learn. You listen, you learn. 0778 665073 0887 105 105. So those are numbers you can call and ask questions if you have doubts. Prefer those ideas if you have any. Or we can just say, oh, thank you for the show, and we will appreciate that. Yeah, so let's get to the line and see if we can talk to this person. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's your name? And you join us from where? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What's your name? And you join us from where?
My name is Alfred from Morovia.
All right, Alfred, let's hear you.
Yeah. I am on the business talk show. Okay, thank you so much. I actually called to say thanks to Mr. Philip for the teaching. Actually, the teaching is so much educative, much especially for we that are doing small businesses in Morovia here. You know, the only thing I want to recommend through his teaching is this. Everything he taught us today, these are the things that are really affecting us in our small businesses. But one thing I want to recommend is this. You know, we are people that are doing small businesses around Morovia, like he rightly said, we don't have the support when it comes to national issue like from the government to come in to help us boost our businesses. Sometimes they will be behind us to register our businesses. At the end of the day, the government will be behind us paying our taxes. We will go through all those things. But when it comes to the help of boosting us, the government, we don't listen to us. But instead, they will go to other people like the foreigners. They will be giving them loans where we, the typical Liberians, struggling to come up in businesses. When we go to those banks or other financial institutions to acquire loans, the procedure of getting those loans are very difficult. And we find it challenging in our little businesses because imagine, as he was saying.
Go ahead. Hello? Oh, man. Hello? Oh, he's off the line. We hope you can actually call back before we leave. Better still, those of you who want to call in, 0778 665 073, 0887 105 105. Our numbers to call and form part of the program Business Talk right here. Time is fast spent. We don't have any more call. Mr. Phillips, any word for the people in part?
Well, all I can say is just follow the points today, and it's always a joy to participate on this program, Business Talk. I think, like I said, next week I will not be here. Rufus will be the one leading, directing, and flying you and taking you to whatever destination he chooses to go next week. So make sure board the plane and fasten your seatbelts because Rufus is going to be there. So I don't know. You know, he always calls me the co-pilot. He's the pilot. So I just take but make sure you participate in the show next week. Again, Rufus, I'm very excited about what we're doing and the announcement that will be coming up in 2 weeks. I think everybody's going to love it once we put it all together and get it all packaged properly, and we'll roll it out. And I think that without a doubt, it will really be impactful. So to all of you who listen today, please make sure that you listen, you learn, and you apply so that you will ultimately grow. Small business is the key. But the question now becomes whether or not the small business owners and operators are plugging in and making use of these resources. Okay, I think that's the last one we can add on there. Make use of available resources. Okay, so add that, that's number 7. Make use of available resources. It's not resources there, the word resources. It doesn't mean money. Money is one of the resources, right? But it could be contacts. It could be your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your know-how, your expertise, somebody who you know can do something for you. That person's a resource. Somebody who you know can type for you and you can't type. That person's a resource. So make use of your available resources. That's number 7. But again, thank you so much, Rufus. To all of the winners, congratulations. Please make sure you get your numbers over to Rufus, to Mr. C. Aloysius Nignus Ganio, Thank you so much for winning and answering 2 questions so eloquently and taking so much good notes. Alfred Booth, thank you for calling in. Rufus, thank you for calling in. And to all of the listeners out there, thank you so much. And I think, I don't know, I can't remember the other guy's name, the guy who got half credit. I don't remember his name, but I'm sure we'll get his name and we'll get the prizes out to you guys in a couple of hours. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and let's reconnect here next week. Thank you, Rufus. Bye-bye, everyone.